On this video, I'm going to show you a couple of shrubs that I've got up here at Grassy Bottom, and they're a couple of my favourite ones. Now this one is, I'm going to give you the big technical name for this. It's called Sambucus, Nigra, Porphyro, Phylu, Black Tower. But for the purposes of this video, we shall call it Sambucus Black Tower, because that's a lot easier to remember. Now, this is just a stunner and has been from day one when I bought it. I bought quite a mature specimen, but it was still only about 2 foot tall. Now at the moment, this particular plant that was only 2 foot tall then has been in here up at Grassy Bottom for 2 years. And it's doing really well and it really likes it. Now it's likely to go about 2.5 wide and about up to 4 meters maybe. So at the moment, this one's, I'd say that's about 7.5 foot at the moment, and it really is a stunner. It produces this really nice colour. Now most people will go for a Sambucus called Black Lace or Black Beauty. They're the more common ones that people tend to go for, but I just like this one because Black Tower, as its name suggests, stays upright, skinny, and goes into a few more gardens, I would say, because of its size. So if you've got a small garden and you want a shrub, you can put this one in and it ain't going to eat the garden up. So it would go lovely into the corner of a garden. In fact, a lot of the modern houses that they're building around England or Great Britain, this would sit lovely within them because it is so slender. Now, for me, last year, this leaf held on right into November. When all the other shrubs had dropped the leaves, this one still held on to it, and it has this lovely deep, I'd like to say it's black, but it's more of a purpley deep green when you actually see it in the flesh, but it appears black. Now, when it first comes up, it'll just take on a green tone like that. These are all the new growths that's growing, and it'll take on that sort of colour. And then as it gets more sun, as spring progresses, it'll produce more colour. And then over the rest of the summer, it should produce this colour fully, except the new growth, obviously, as it grows away. And that will then turn back to black. Now, it does produce these berries, as most elderberries do. So its common name is elderberry. And it will produce these berries. And these berries are edible, but you must let them mature first. You must let them mature and be a bit squidgy. Now, I won't do anything with these, but apparently you can make some lovely dishes, I guess, with it. I don't know what. I haven't got a clue what you'd make with it. But anyway, apparently you can. So that's a lovely one. Now, I've taken 4 cuttings of this year, and it's been very successful for me. And although this is looking a little bit small, it's still going to be really, really nice. And I'm placing 4 of these in the garden. I'm going to put all 4 in. I've got 3 in so far. So this is my new area, the cloister pergola, and it sits just outside of it. And I just love it. And when I get the seat here, it's going to be even nicer, because I can get to view that from here. So it's definitely worth having, definitely worth sorting out and finding it. It is Black Tower and it is not Black Beauty or Black Lace, which are the more popular ones that you'll find around. But look out for it, you should find it. It should be available now. It is available in most garden centres in the UK. I'm not sure about in other countries, but it is here. Now, as I said, it's about 7.5, 8 foot at the moment, that. And I'm hoping for probably 9 to 10 foot, and maybe at that point it'll stop growing. Now, it should take most soils. The elders are lovely in most soils, as far as I'm aware. I've grown it on sand, not this particular one. I've grown Black Lace on sand, and I'm talking mainly sand. And this is on a heavy chalk soil, and it's doing really well here. So I would expect if you've got just a standard garden, it should be fine. No special requirements required for it. It will grow in sun, in shade, not too much heavy shade, because if you get too much heavy shade, you will get this greening rather than the black. But nevertheless, it will grow in part shade, really, I guess, apart from not really, not a deep shade anyway. So it do really well. And I don't think you can see it from here, but there's another one right through there. Let me try and get my finger in the way. There we go. At the back there, against that wall, there's another one of my cuttings that's in there. And over time, it's going to look just like that one. So that's Sambucus, and that's Sambucus nigra, Porphyro Phyla, Black Tower. But like I said, for the purpose of this video, we're calling it Sambucus Black Tower. Now, I will show you another shrub that I really think you should get. So here's the second shrub, and this is Cotinus, Cogagria, and likely to be royal purple, this one. I say likely to be because it was already in the garden when I moved here. And I absolutely love this one. There's one called Grace, which is a little bit more, a bit less showy in my opinion, Grace. It's a bit more open. But whereas this one, you can absolutely hammer it back, as I've done twice this year, because what happened with this one was it was a little bit too big, and I've had to control it by bringing it back in, because these, all Cotinuses, have an annoying habit, and I'm going to see if I can show you it, of splaying out from the main trunk. So the main trunks grow, but what they actually do is they have this tendency to send out these big trunks, and then cause themselves a problem. And in some cases, they will split. So I set about, when we first moved here, chopping this one back in. Because when we moved here, the grass you can see there, it was halfway out onto that grass. It was so big, and it was a lot taller than that. Now, one thing I've had to do, because I've had to chop it twice this year, is I've taken away the fact that it will flower next year. It definitely won't flower. And its common name's the smoke bush. And when you see it, in sort of June, July time, you'll see why. The whole plant looks like it's on fire. The flowers have this look about it that's smoky. Looks like it's smoking. And I'm not talking cigarettes. I'm talking a fire. But it's beautiful, and it has this lovely colour as well, as you can see from here. And once autumn kicks in, this has a really, truly stunning colour that's hard to be beaten. The only thing that beats it, in its family anyway, is the ordinary green variety, because the ordinary green variety takes on some wonderful reds and oranges, even better than this one. But the beauty of this one is that this has this look all year round. Now again, I'm going to have to do something about this next year. I'm going to have to chop it back in, because it is a bit of a grower. But I am going to waste the flowers. So maybe if once I've got the third chop in there, it will then, I will leave it then to produce its flowers, because it can look truly amazing, especially from a distance. So it's quite a large shrub, but really, really nice. So that's Cotinus Cogagria, and likely to be royal purple. There are other varieties, and there is a very small variety that I'm about to take you to and show you that one as well. So we'll have 3 on this video, 3 different plants that I think you should consider and look for. But look at that, isn't that just stunning? Don't matter where you look at that plant from in this garden, it always looks that good. And I just can't wait for its autumn display, because it is going to be a knockout. Okay, let's move to the next one. So here we go, a total contrast from the last one. It's about 1.5 foot. It'll get bigger than that. I'm not 100% sure the eventual height of this, but this particular Cotinus is called Young Lady. And I grew it in a pot. It does well in a pot. So if you haven't got the space to put it in the ground, put it in a pot. It'll do well in there, but remember to feed and water it, or it will suffer. Now, the beauty of this one again, and as with most Cotinuses, this takes on a wonderful autumn colour, and I mean it's absolutely amazing. It almost goes a bright orange, And it's like a beacon in the garden, and for something so small, it shouts out very loud. And it's plain green at the minute. You can just see some of this year's flowers. Sorry, this doesn't do the job quite as good as Cotinus Cogagrea Royal Purple. It doesn't produce a smokier look until it gets a little bit more mature, this particular one, but nevertheless it will do a nice show eventually. You can see it's very small. It's probably 1.5 foot, as I've said, and it will get bigger than this. I've got it underneath another tree. The reason it'll do well here is because it gets plenty of rain hitting it, and it also gets plenty of sunshine hitting it, and it's doing really well. But very small, very diminutive, but another one that you should really, really consider. And I really like that one. So that's Cotinus Young Lady. So look out for it. Usually available in garden centres in the UK. And look out for it and see if you can get it. So there you go. 3 shrubs that I consider worth getting and worth having. Okay, I'll talk to you on the next one. Ta-da.